Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to install the Windows 7 beta onto a Windows Vista computer without disrupting your Windows Vista installation. The first thing you're going to want to do is download the Windows 7 beta ISO file. You can find this either at Microsoft.com, or if you're familiar with BitTorrent, you should be able to find the file there as well. Okay, once you've downloaded the file, you're going to want to burn the ISO onto a DVD. You can use any program you feel comfortable doing this with. I personally am going to be using PowerISO, which you can find at poweriso.com for $29.95. Okay, so I'm in the program here, and I'm just going to come up here and click Burn. And once I do that, the dialog will pop up, and I'll just go ahead and select Burn, and it will burn the DVD. Once it's done burning, you might, depending on your settings, get one of these autoplay pop-ups. You just go ahead and exit out of it, and also exit out of the program. Okay, next thing we're going to do is you're going to need to go down to your Start menu and go to your computer. And right-click on the computer link and choose Manage. This will take you to your computer management window. Choose Storage and then choose Disk Management Local. It'll take a little while for your drives to pop up, and when they do, you're going to want to come down here towards the bottom and find the one that your operating system is installed on, which will be your C drive. Right-click it and choose Shrink Volume. After you do that, Windows will come up with some sort of space to allocate to a new partition. Go ahead and you can either leave that value. I'm going to go ahead and change mine to about 20 gigabytes. And it'll take a little while, and then eventually it'll unallocate that amount of storage from that hard drive, so you can install your new Windows 7 beta on that new hard drive space. Okay, so now go ahead and restart your computer with the Windows 7 beta DVD in your drive, and if you are not set up to be booting from your CD, you're going to want to change that. For me, I can see up in the top right it says F2 equals setup, so I'm going to hit the F2 to enter my setup. Yours might be different. It might be the delete key or a different function key. So now I'm going to use my arrows and navigate over to the boot menu and use my arrows down to change my boot my boot priority, and I'm going to start off with the optical drive. I want my CD-ROM drive to be the first device that tries to boot, that the computer tries to boot from. So I'm going to go ahead and exit and save the changes, and now instead of booting from the hard drive first, it's going to boot from the DVD-ROM first. You can see here it's trying to boot from the CD, and now it's asking me to press any key to boot from the CD. So I'll hit the space bar, and Windows will begin loading all the files off of the DVD. So right now it's starting the installation for Windows 7. This is pretty standard. Just hit Next and click Install Now. This is the beta build 7000. So yours might be a little different than what you're seeing here based on what build you are installing. If you agree to the terms, go ahead and click Accept. And what we're going to want to do is choose Custom. We're not going to want to upgrade our Vista installation. We want to actually install it on its own partition. So we'll choose the Custom, and we'll find that unallocated space we created. There's that 20 gigabyte unallocated space. So I'm going to select that and choose Next. That's the space we created when we shrunk the volume. Okay, so now section right here, it's going to take you about 20 minutes to get from there to here, and there'll be a few different restarts. Once you get to this point, let me zoom in here, you'll go ahead and just follow the rest of the steps. Pretty simple. I'm going to enter my name in here. Click Next. If you want to enter a password, you can do it here. I'll skip that. Just hit Next. This is where you would enter your product key. Currently I don't have one, so I'm just going to skip this part and hit Next. What will happen is I'm not able to activate Windows until I actually get a product key. I am able to use Windows 7 beta for 30 days before activation. Okay, so I'm going to change all my time zone settings and also my clock settings. And it's Windows 7 is since that I'm connected to a network, so it's going to want to know what type of network am I on, and this is my home network, so I'll select that. And now a new feature of Windows 7 Home Group, it's giving me my Windows 7 Home Group password. So that's my password for that, and these are some of the folders that will be shared. I'll just go ahead and leave that default and click Next. Let me go ahead and zoom back out. And that's pretty much it for the Windows 7 installation. You find here comes the welcome screen and prepares your desktop, and you're pretty much ready to go. Okay, let's go ahead and restart the computer now, just so we can see exactly what it's going to be like when we start our computer from now on, with both operating systems installed, Vista and Windows 7. The first thing I'm going to want to do is go ahead and enter that setup again with my F2 key. And I'm going to go ahead and change my boot priority back to how it was, because it's a quicker way to boot, not having to go to the optical drive every time, just to go straight to the hard drive. So I'm going to make the hard drive the first device again, because that's the preference I prefer. And I'm going to go ahead and save the changes. This is all optional, you don't have to do this. And now you can use the arrow key and hit up or down to choose between Windows 7 or Windows Vista. Let's go ahead and enter Windows Vista. When you enter Windows Vista, you're going to notice pretty much no difference. It's going to be exactly like nothing ever happened. The only difference is that you're going to have this new drive. For me, it's the F drive. It might be a different letter for you. And that's the 20 gig drive that we created. I'm going to go ahead and rename this. You don't have to, but I'm going to name it Windows 7. Now let's go ahead and see what happens when we enter Windows 7. So if we entered Windows 7, open up the computer from the Start menu, and you'll notice here now the Windows 7 drive is the C drive, and the Vista drive is now missing. So the Vista partition is not accessible, at least from what I can see here inside of Windows 7. So that's pretty much everything you need to know on how to install Windows 7 on a Windows Vista computer.